For my second video, I decided to get all achievements and 100% Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time. Crash 4 is considered one of the hardest games out there since it requires extreme precision, skill and commitment. Having also completed the Insane trilogy, I expected this to be a very rough ride, with a completion estimate of 100 hours. It's quite perplexing then that I did not find it so hard at all, which really surprised me. Crash 4 is a fantastic game, with colorful visuals, characters, a fan story with many Easter eggs, and is an absolute blast to play through. I recommend playing in modern mode as you have unlimited lives and keeping the shadow on for more accurate platforming. We begin with Neo Cortex, Uka Uka and Dr. Entropy trying to escape their prison. Uka Uka overexerts himself in order to open a dimensional rift, and then the other two, in true Top Gear fashion, leave him behind to enact their sinister plots. Back in our cozy little beach, Aku Aku senses that something is wrong and wakes up our main character, Crash Bandicoot, to go check it out. Shortly after, we gain control of Crash, and it just feels so familiar. It's like my childhood coming back once more, just looking better than ever. There is even a Spyro the Dragon inflatable Easter egg on the same beach. It's about time, pun intended, to get our first achievement out of 51. Spinning the TV changes channels and each time shows a static image of every main Crash game. After spinning 3 more times, we are awarded with our first trophy, Channel Surfing. One of the most important moves in the game is slide and crouch jumping. This allows Crash to jump higher, and when paired with a double jump, it allows for some awesome platforming moments and reaching inaccessible areas. Performing one gives us our second achievement, Altitude Sickness. Going through the first level is quite simple and introduces you to a lot of the elements of the game, including grinding on rails. There are boxes that contain Wumpa Fruit, TNT crates that explode after 3 seconds, Nitro crates that explode on contact, and so on. Almost all levels also have a platform that takes you to a bonus path. This is an extra separate zone where deaths don't count, and it has different platforming challenges. You also need to complete these if you are aiming for the all boxes clear gem. The first one is really simple and easy with just 8 boxes and nets us our third achievement, completing a bonus path. Speaking about clear gems, each level also has 6 clear gems that are awarded for meeting certain requirements. 3 gems for getting 40, 60 and 80% of the Wumpa Fruit, 1 for breaking all crates, 1 for dying a maximum of 3 times, and 1 of finding the hidden gem. On top of that, if you manage to clear the level without dying and breaking all the crates, you get what's called an N'Sanely Perfect Relic. Feeling confident and high on dopamine, I managed to get my first Perfect Relic on the first level and get 2 trophies, beating a level without dying and getting my first Perfect Relic. It was then that I decided that I will get the Perfect Relic on each level before moving on to the next one. The next stage has some more platforming and jumping while introducing phasing platforms. There is a cool chase scene towards the end, and when you're done, you meet Lani Lolly. Lani Lolly is a funny new mask that can shift objects and platforms. This also gives us the titular achievement. This is also the time that the map starts to open up, and you can switch characters. Coco is Crash's sister and she's quite the techie. Her moveset is identical to Crash's with the exception of her slam attack. As soon as you finish a level with Coco, you get an achievement. Crash 4 also has 4 hidden color gems, red, green, blue and yellow. In stage 2, there is a room with disappearing platforms that you need to jump on the correct path. There are some hints outside the room in fact, and you know that you're doing it right when you hear a music note after stepping on each platform. After the last jump, the red gem appears out of nowhere and gives us an achievement, but only at the end of the level. After beating some levels and acquiring a number of clear gems, you earn various skins in the character tab. Simply equipping a new skin gives us our next trophy. Each dimension has its own vibe and theme, which makes for some really interesting variety. The second world has this kind of Mad Max look and feel to it, for example. It's also controlled by a specific boss, Lucky of Cortex. Dr. Engine speaks to you through some megaphones in the level, and breaking them awards us our next achievement. From the 38 available levels, not counting boss fights, 21 of them contain flashback tapes. To get them, you need to reach a certain point in a level without dying and then complete the level. Getting our first flashback tape gives us a trophy. Flashback tapes add some very interesting perspective from the experiments of Cortex that led to the creation of Crash and Coco. They have some hilarious dialogue and some challenging 2D platforming, paying homage to the older games. The platforming needs to be quick and precise, and there are some really difficult sections later on. Our objective here is to break all the boxes in each of the 21 levels for a trophy, but that will happen later towards the end. Until that, we gain ourselves an achievement for getting our first flashback tape relic. Next on the list is one of the many miscellaneous trophies. In the level Hit the Road, there is a few oil barrels scattered around that play music when you spin them. Spinning all of them in the level gave us the achievement Junkyard Jams. This level also contains a second hidden color gem. During another chase scene, you will reach a checkpoint surrounded by some trash cans and some suspicious nitro crate. Spinning the cans reveals a remote toy car, which you can spin further into the nitro crate. Doing that gives us the green gem, but the achievement pops only at the end of the level. The last stage of this world is our first boss fight against Engine, in his death metal concert called Rocket Head. It's quite simple and easy, and after we defeat him, we receive a trophy. In this dimension, we also meet one of our side characters, Tona. Tona was Crash's girlfriend in Crash Bandicoot 1, and this multiversal version of her is much more badass. She has her own set of moves, a hookshot, and is very thick. I did not like playing as Tona very much, especially because of the time trials later on, but this was a very easy level to go on for a Platinum Time Trial relic, and to get a taste of what's to come. Earning any of the Sapphire, Gold, or Platinum relics gives us another achievement. We go through all levels without issues, and with the perfect relics in the bag until we arrive at Jetboard Jetty. This is the level that caused me more trouble later on, especially in the time trials, and even has a mini-boss at the end. Finishing it progresses the story, where we meet a second mask, Akano, who has the power to deflect green magic and spin really high in the air. It is also another story-related trophy. The next dimension has a really cool setting with Chinese inspirations, dragons, and a lot of kawaii. It's also packed with trophies, so let's begin collecting. The main boss here is Dr. Embryo, who's the unfortunate assistant of Cortex. He's obsessed with magic potions and mixing. You learn a lot about him during these stages, where he speaks through some potion bottles and even calls us his only friends at some points. It's hilarious, and even more during the flashback tapes. Breaking those potions gives us a trophy about silencing him. Most worlds have certain events that happen in-game inexplicably, but you learn why during the timeline variants. There's a simultaneous event that play from another character's perspective and then merge into a slightly different variant of the same level. Completing any timeline gave us one more trophy. Dragging On is our next stop, and it has two achievements. One for spinning a bunch of gongs that are scattered through the level, and one for acquiring the blue gem. This one's a bit trickier since you have to go through the entire level without breaking a single box. There is a small trick to make it easier though. Bonus paths act as checkpoints, so you can enter, die immediately, and voila, you will always spawn there. After some trial and error, this was not that hard, and the blue gem gives us the achievement number 21. We are blasting through already! One more level before a showdown with Embryo. Off Balance has one miscellaneous achievement, and right at the very beginning. Spinning the side of the big tree drops a Boomba fruit, putting Crash briefly into this dazed state and giving our next trophy. Now it's time to face Embryo on his crazy shenanigans. He's a very easy boss fight. Just avoid his ranged attacks, throw the green blobs that spawn right back at him. He has a second stage where he chugs his own potions and turns into this larger weird creature. Avoid his attacks, wait for him to get tired, and then spin him with Akano off the platform. We get an achievement and a really ridiculous cutscene where he's now a bird and gives birth to an egg. Completing this boss fight opens up another part of the game. Nverted levels are a mirrored version of the classic levels, but with an applied special filter in each world. Everything is the same, with the exception of hidden gems. More on that later, but right now we can quickly do an inverted boss fight and knock out 2 achievements with 1 stone. Beating any stage in inverted mode and beating a boss in inverted mode. Our next miscellaneous trophy is during the offbeat stage. It's a very interesting rhythm-based map, inspired by what seems to be the Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. Just spin a trash can, scaring the poor cat inside gets us the achievement number 26. We're more than halfway there. The next world is a swamp-like area where we meet one of my favorite characters in the game, Dingondao. He's a thick crocodilian dingo hybrid with a suction gun and his own disgusting and sanitary restaurant chain. I love him. There's a couple of miscellaneous trophies involving Dingondao, and they're pretty easy to get. We get the first one by smashing through the purple target boards in home cooking, while the second one for firing up the cannons during Darhi blows. Now things start to get serious. Considered by many one of the hardest stages in the game, Run It By You was surprisingly easy for me. A challenge can be when you ride at the top of the boat, but also some of the jetboard sections towards the end. During the last part, you can however simply turn your jetty against the current, hold the boost button, and then you will very slowly go down the current, making it easy to grab the boxes. Run It By You also has a couple of trophies. One is a tricky one initially, where you have to ignore the jetboard at the beginning, jump towards the platform further ahead. On top of the tent, the hidden yellow gem is waiting for you. Completing the level unlocks that achievement, but also meeting our third mask, Kupuna Va. This is a mask that allows us to slow down time and do otherwise impossible tasks. This mask's attitude reminds me of Whoopi Goldberg. Time for a quick break and 3 easy, yet boring achievements that involve co-op but can be done solo. Pass and play is essentially passing the controller to another person after a death or checkpoint, which is very old school. Then there's Bandicoot Battle on the main menu with 2 modes. Checkpoint Race and Crate Combo. Essentially, you alternate with another player on each section, and whoever gets the best time or crates gets a point. The one with the most points wins at the end. It also awards 1 trophy each, which is not bad since we are already at 33 out of 51. At this point, I've went hardcore on all levels, earning all N'Sanely Perfect Relics, clearing all flashback tapes with a Platinum Relic, and getting all 6 clear gems on each level. There's a total of 228 clear gems, and at the halfway mark, this awards us another trophy. It's time to kick Cortex's butt now, which turns out to be yet another walk in the park. Avoid some laser beams, punch him with his own punch bot, and voila. Beating him of course is yet another achievement. Cortex is tired of losing, gives up, and somehow ends up joining our team, and in a change of heart for now. Turns out the real villain all along was Dr. Entropy, who found his female multiversal counterpart, and what follows is a hilarious, puke-inducing, cringy display of love between them. There's only a few more trophies until the end of the game left. Just before the fight with the Entropies, we meet our 4th and final mask, Ika Ika, who can change gravity and turn the world upside down. It also gives us an achievement. On our way to the Entropies, we go through a big rail crossing the multiversal dimensions. There are a bunch of bumper fruits that are very easy to get, and collecting all of them gives us a relevant trophy. The evil doctors have only 2 health bars and are quite easy as well. There's nothing really important to talk about here other than the fact that we happily receive our next story related trophy. With Cortex still on our side, we go through the next world, the food capital of the universe. During the last level, surprise surprise, Cortex has a change of heart and steals the time mask in order to go back in time and prevent the creation of Crash. This gives us another achievement for his betrayal. The last world is set back in 1996, with some funny background story about Cortex meeting his younger self. It also has some of the more frustrating levels in the game, such as nitro processing and toxic tunnels. This level has probably the hardest perfect relic in the game, since you have to go through a color gem gauntlet and complete the level without dying and breaking all the boxes in one go. The gauntlet is very tough the first time you go through, and one small mistake means death and restarting. Going through the last few stages, we end up facing up Cortex in one last grand finale. Yet again, the fight is quite easy despite his larger health bar. Beating Cortex, again, gives us our last story-related achievement. Only 11 achievements remaining, and it's time to clean up shop. Beating the game unlocks a triple spin. Spinning 3 times in quick succession gives Crash a lot of momentum. This is key for the time trials, especially where it involves a lot of jumping. Pulling off a triple spin awards us an achievement, and so does beating an enemy with a triple spin. With the last flashback tape acquired, I finish it and earn the Platinum Relic. Getting all 21 Platinum Relics on the flashback tapes gives us another achievement, meaning we never have to go back there again. It's right here where I finished the last level of the game, Seeing Double, which is a timeline variant of Cortex Castle. Completing it awards the achievement for all timelines. There's 2 more to go before doing the Nverted levels, finishing up Cortex Castle and Seeing Double for all clear gems and the N'Sanely Perfect Relics. They were not that bad, especially after you learned the patterns. Getting all clear gems gives us the achievement King of Bling, while attaining all 38 perfect relics the other trophy. The inverted levels are much easier and very chill to go through since you can die a maximum of 3 times, making them far easier. The filters can be supremely annoying, but the worst offender is the ghastly, horrible underwater filter in the food world. All you have to do is collect another 228 clear gems for an achievement, with the hidden gems being in different, obscure places. Clearing all levels, including the boss fights in inverted mode, is the last trophy before the final grind. Before we begin the time trials, we can go into the gallery and watch the 100% ending video. It's a bit of a follow-up on what all the characters are doing post-game. It also has its own achievement. Oh boy, here we are, the only moment I was dreading, the time trials. Crash 4 is even stricter than the previous games, where you had to only get a gold relic. Here, you have to beat the platinum time. There are even developer times that are very hard, but they are not required. It was a long grind, but surprisingly after just 2.5 days I managed to complete all 38 time trials with a platinum relic. There were a few hard moments and sections, most notably Jetboard Jetty, Rock Blocked, Seeing Double and Nitro Processing. But the worst part was definitely the strain on your fingers and hands. I will let you enjoy the last run of Nitro Processing for the last platinum relic. Triple spinning and slide spinning non-stop for hours can really take its toll. One by one though, I got the platinum and in some cases even the developer times. Time trials are about optimizing routes, memorization, smart skips, and testing. Finally, I received a trophy for getting all of them and the relief is evident. One achievement left, watching the true 106% ending in the gallery. Hopefully, it is a spoiler for a future game, though Sam speculated it was for Crash Rumble. And that ends the journey for one of the best, most rewarding and challenging games I have ever played. For me, Crash 4 is a must-play for young and old people alike, with excellent platforming, a decent but not excruciating challenge for casual players, and a true testament of will and perseverance for those crazy enough to go for a 106%. I'm a bit sad it's over, but so happy I went through it. To get these 51 achievements it took me about 68 hours, and I'm very proud, especially when PSN Profiles rates this as a 9 out of 10 difficulty and a 100 hours requirement. As always, thank you for watching my content, and I hope to hear from you in the comments down below. Consider subscribing and liking the video. It really helps. I'll see you in the next one with another amazing game.